That night began like any other, but when Daniel opened his eyes the next morning, something felt disturbingly wrong. His room wasn't his room. The furniture was unfamiliar, the wall clock ticked with a rhythm he didn't recognize, and even the sunlight pouring through the curtains felt like it belonged to a different world. He sat up slowly, feeling a heavy pressure behind his eyes, as if someone had forced memories into his skull. Images flashed: a childhood he never lived, a mother he never met, a house in a town he had never visited. Yet they felt real, painfully real. Daniel stumbled to the mirror and almost collapsed when he saw it. His face was still his, but the reflection behind his eyes wasn't. He didn't remember his job, his family, or where he lived. Instead, he remembered growing up on a lonely farmhouse with a boy named Aaron, a boy who, according to a sudden and chilling memory, died 10 years ago. And now Daniel could see Aaron's memories as clearly as if they were happening again. But as he tried to steady his breathing, another horrifying realization hit him. The memories were still changing, as if someone was adding new ones even now, guiding him towards something he didn't understand. And for the first time in his life, Daniel felt truly afraid of his own mind. Late that evening, as Daniel wandered through the unfamiliar house that his mind insisted was home, he discovered a narrow door behind a tall bookshelf, one he was certain he had never seen before. His hands trembled as he pulled it open, revealing a steep staircase leading into darkness. Yet, strangely, his heart recognized it. He knew this staircase. He had run down it as a child, as Aaron, trying to escape something that breathed heavily behind him. The memory hit him so violently he had to grab the railing to stay upright. Compelled by a force he couldn't fight, Daniel descended step by step, each creak echoing like a ghostly whisper. At the bottom, he found a small, cold basement lit by a single flickering bulb. In the center stood an old wooden table covered with photographs, hundreds of them, of Daniel. Different ages, different places, moments he didn't even remember living. But one detail made his blood turn to ice. Every photograph had a second figure beside him. A boy. The same boy. Aaron. In the earliest photos, Aaron looked alive and smiling. But in the most recent ones, his face was pale, bruised, and lifeless, yet he was standing right behind Daniel in every single image. As Daniel leaned closer, a sudden gust of freezing air swept through the room, and one photograph slid forward on its own. It showed Daniel sleeping in the same bed he woke up in that morning, but Aaron was standing over him, his shadow stretched unnaturally long across the wall. Daniel stumbled back, heart pounding, realizing that Aaron wasn't just a memory. He was here. And he wanted something back. That single photograph tilted on the table as though someone had touched it, and Daniel froze. The air grew heavier, thicker, as if the walls themselves were exhaling. Then, soft, childlike footsteps echoed behind him. Slow. Deliberate. Daniel turned with unbearable hesitation, and at the far end of the basement, he saw a small silhouette. A boy. Barefoot. Head slightly tilted. Watching him. The dim light flickered, and for the briefest moment, Daniel saw his face clearly: pale skin, hollow eyes, lips tinted blue, the unmistakable stillness of someone who had not been alive for a very long time. Aaron. Daniel couldn't move. His throat locked. But Aaron took one quiet step forward, then another. "You left me," the boy whispered, though his lips didn't move. The voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere at once. Memories Daniel had buried, memories that weren't Daniel's at all, surged forward. A frozen lake. Ice cracking. Two boys running. One falling through. A desperate hand reaching up. A promise to hold on. And then, nothing. Daniel staggered as his mind split in two: who he was, and who he had been. Aaron reached out a small, trembling hand. Not to hurt him, but to hold him. The same way he had begged for help on the lake. Daniel's breath shook. "I'm sorry," he whispered. The boy's expression softened, the anger melting into a deep, aching sadness. The lights dimmed again, and Aaron slowly faded into a soft white glow, drifting toward Daniel. The room warmed, the crushing weight lifting from Daniel's chest. As Aaron's hand passed through his, Daniel felt something release: guilt, fear, and a lifetime of borrowed memories. And then Aaron was gone. Only the faint scent of cold air remained. Daniel collapsed to his knees, tears falling, realizing the truth: he hadn't been haunted by a ghost. He had been haunted by a memory that refused to die.